Hey there. Yeah. Yeah. Hyde stream. Gonna be Hyde. Yeah, gonna be Hyde. Bum 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 bum. Okay, link posted. Title awful. Thumbnail god awful. No one's gonna click that, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, audio seems okay. I have been messing with that. Do tell me if the music gets a little too loud. Yeah. I will try and do something about that if it does. That is awful. Not juice tonight, not water. It's, coffee. Yeah. Fantastic. Good old coffee. I think we're gonna start here pretty soon. Just, finishing up. Yeah. Yeah, don't go anywhere. All one of you in the audience tonight. Dum 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 dum. Do I like drinking awful things? Oh, we'll get there. We will get there. Apparently I do. Yeah. Apparently I do. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hi there. It's me, Hyde. Were you expecting a different greeting? Hey there. Hi there. It's Hyde here. Back at it for another Zatsu-Sweeper stream. I hope that none of you are getting tired of this. Yeah, it'd be a real shame if you were, right? I could imagine that some of you might get tired of this, right? Like it's just one of those things. I've done 10 of these, never? Never? Okay. Never getting tired of this. Well, that's great, because it's infinite content, you know? Now, as I was saying, we're not drinking juice today, we're not drinking water today. Hyde's kinda tired, right? Are you winning, son? Hi, Pafu. Not yet, we just started. And I can assure you, there's a 0% chance that we will win tonight. Just like, yeah, right there. Every other night. Yeah, I will be drinking coffee tonight, and it's not good coffee, mind you. It's really terrible coffee. In fact, it's instant coffee that I mixed with cold water, and that's in my thermos right now. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, why did I put that in a thermos? That's really the best container I had for it. At the time, I didn't want to put it into a water bottle, right? Because if I put it into a water bottle, then I have to worry about like bacterial growth in the spout of the water bottle. Because I am very concerned about bacterial growth, and I probably should be more concerned about like the illnesses I get, but I really can't take a lot of antibiotics, right? So, it doesn't do me any good anyway. I just have to avoid certain mold varieties as well. Yeah, yeah. It's not really on the topic list, but we can talk about that if you want. Yeah, maybe we should, right? Maybe we should talk about ways to kill Hyde. YouTube? This is purely theoretical, of course. Please don't nuke my VOD. Theoretically, Hyde is allergic to penicillium molds, Yeah, that's a real shame, right? Like, I know a lot of people are allergic to just penicillin. I know a lot of people are allergic to just certain types of mold. Um, I'm allergic to penicillium molds in general, which means I really can't have blue cheese. Yes, purely theoretical. Not going to have a use, sure. Uh-huh, uh-huh. You have to find me first. And if the authorities couldn't find Edward Hyde, I'm sure that you can't either, right? Ouch, that hurts. So it's really only the blue-green varieties that I seem to react to, and I don't think it's psychosomatic. That's a big word, isn't it? Psychosomatic. Essentially, it's not a psychological symptom. I've known people with psychological allergies. Like, a girl I used to date, she had a psychological allergy to, um, only tiny shrimp. uh, it's really kind of funny, isn't it? Not the big shrimp, which is an oxymoron in itself, right? Big shrimp. Jumbo shrimp is probably the best example of an oxymoron in all of the English language, isn't it? Right? How could something be a shrimp and jumbo at the same time? You just can't do it. It's a paradox. And that's what an oxymoron is. Not, not Hyde. Hyde is not an oxymoron, right? No. Yeah. So I knew a girl, I dated one, who had a psychological allergy to tiny shrimp. If she didn't notice it was in a dish, she was perfectly fine, right? So things like shrimp paste, perfectly acceptable. But if she saw a full shrimp, she would actually literally break out in hives. Her throat would swell. It was really strange. And it's the first time that I realized the true power of the mind over matter. So it depends whether or not she notices she's taken any. I don't like how you're describing it as like a drug, like she's taken tiny shrimp. Like, you don't take them, you don't do a dab of tiny shrimp, right? You eat them. Yeah. But, yeah, it depended on whether or not she noticed. Which is very strange for me, too. Because I thought for sure, oh, no, she has to be faking this or something. But no, she really did have a psychosomatic reaction. So, the mind's a pretty powerful thing. I don't know if any of you have any psychosomatic allergies or real ones. You do not have to tell me, because that would be doxing information, right? And maybe you shouldn't give your weaknesses to potential enemies, right? Yeah. I feel safe telling all of you, but that's a different story. Yeah. No, my allergy is very real. I don't think it's psychosomatic. I was given penicillin a few times, and every time I had penicillin, I had the same reactions. So, it's very likely a physical allergy. Like, even when I didn't know I had penicillin, I would have a reaction. And sometimes when I ate something with blue cheese in it, I would have the same reaction. Like I said, some people are allergic to one or the other. It seems that I'm allergic to both. I really can't have penicillin or penicillium mold. So that really limits what I can take when I get sick and I need antibiotics, right? So I try not to take too many antibiotics. We are in a really bad spot here. Maybe, since there are only 4 squares here, and we know the total number of bombs through this number here, maybe we can leave that and it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pray for the best. Yeah. when you don't have any other options, right? There are no atheists in foxholes. So they say. That's a fun little, idiom, isn't it? There are no atheists in foxholes. I don't know when that started. Probably World War I, maybe World War II. Can I get an audio check here? How's the music? It looks good on my end. I am monitoring it today. But if it's too loud, do let me know. Yeah, I don't want to talk about foxholes for too long. I think that probably... Well, some of the topics I have for tonight, if we get to them, it's going to be a shorter stream, of course. I say that every time, and yeah, I usually end up going longer than I think I will, you know? So, maybe it won't be a shorter stream. Maybe I'm just saying it'll be a shorter stream. I'm okay with it for this BGM. Okay. Fantastic. Let's see what BGM it is. The Colonel by Zachariah Hickman. And now we go to King Porter's Stomp by Joel Cummins. Okay. That sounded like a radio advertisement, didn't it? Do you still listen? Nah. Do you still listen to radios? Like, I don't know if anyone still listens to radios. People in cars, they have radios a lot, right? Okay, now are you winning, son? Yeah, I'm not losing yet. I'm not losing yet. There's hope. But, don't have too high of an expectation here. Because I don't think we're going to win for too long. No. As you can see, we don't really have too many moves left. We have, this over here, and that's about it. Yeah. So, I love listening to the radio. I find all my best music through radio. I think that there are very few people who listen to a very few people who listen to a radio outside of cars these days. Like, public transport, maybe. I don't have public transport around me, so I don't know. I'm going to assume that public transport has a lot of radio. Yeah. Because then you can get advertisements, and you can get deals with the public transportation sector, right? Yeah. Just because you haven't lost doesn't mean you're not in the process of losing. Well, everyone who's living is currently dying. It's one of those things, isn't it? Right? You're not wrong, just pointing out that fact might not be the nicest thing out there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's true though. I am probably going to lose this game. That's just the probability, right? Also, congrats on 200 subs. Thank you, Pafu. Yeah. I've had that for, I think, 2 days now, and I haven't really said anything about it. I'll tell you why. Yeah. Like, we can switch off the radio topic now. Turn off the radio. I haven't said anything because YouTube, as you probably know, like, you two are the only... Well, you're not the only ones I know, but you two are the only ones with a major YouTube presence. So maybe you're more inclined to know about this, right? YouTube does this really fun thing where it unsubscribes people, and sometimes it unlikes comments. That hurts. And sometimes it takes away views. So I haven't said anything on the off chance that that's what's going to happen again, right? I just didn't know. And that's partially why this is not a celebration stream for my 200 subscribers, despite me having gotten it probably 2 or 3 days ago now. Yeah. I'd like to have a solid 201. So we're probably looking at some kind of minor celebration stream next week. Not a Zatsu-Sweeper, I know it's going to be very disappointing. It's going to be very low energy, but I'm going to put some effort into it during the week, and we'll see if it turns out fun. I think it will be. I think it'll be novel. It's something I've been wanting to do on my channel for a while now, and now I have an excuse to do it. Yeah? Oh, speaking of fun things on channels, I did see that, Pafu in the audience had a really interesting stream on, well, a topic that I don't really cover too often. But, yeah. It was a very interesting looking stream. I haven't watched the VOD yet, and I couldn't make it. But I intend to, because it is an interesting looking stream. So, anyone who's watching the VOD, please check out Pafu's recent streams, yeah. I'll see YouTube drops my subs at least once a day and resets them an hour later. Yeah, it's really strange, right? Like, if you have a lot of activity, they don't like that. Like, they accuse you of botting or something. Or they accuse, the accounts of being bots. But sometimes it works in my favor, right? Like, I'll have, I don't know, say 10 likes on a video, and I'll have 6 dislikes, but an hour or two later, I'll end up with like 8 likes and 2 dislikes. So sometimes it works in my favor. I don't know what that means, but it is something I see. I'm so excited. I'm glad you're excited for the 200 subscriber special next week. Let's hope I can get it done. Hi, Finbar. Am I winning? No. In fact, I am losing quite a bit. Yeah. We'll get there eventually. Like, maybe in Zatsu-Sweeper 100, we might win one. Yeah. It's really funny, right? Like, people underestimate streamer brain all the time. But I used to be able to win Expert Minesweeper about 7 out of 10 times. And I think the fastest I ever did it was 90 seconds. It's not that impressive. I know people can do it faster. But, I don't think I've seen a streamer do it faster. Not one who's also trying to talk and engage with people, you know? It really does drop the mental processing quite a bit. You gotta be very careful, right? Yeah, like that. So now we're pretty much stuck, which is less than ideal. No, okay. We have one avenue here. I don't know what we're gonna do about this side. This side is definitely... Oh, no. Okay. See what I mean by dropping the IQ by a couple points? Yeah. Probably a full standard deviation if I had to guess. Of course, I'm sure you're only smart off-stream. Yeah, well, you can't disprove it, can you? Go ahead and try. Try to disprove it. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for you to give me an argument that I'm not smart off-stream. How would you know? You wouldn't. You wouldn't know. The only one who knows if I'm smart or not off-stream is me, right? I'm the expert here. And if you know anything about experts, it's that our opinions need to be trusted over all else. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's how it works. I set the paradigms, especially about myself. So, I think we're going to get into our first topic of the night, yeah? I've been playing a lot of retro games lately, right? Which is very strange. I didn't used to play a lot of retro games. They weren't retro when I was playing them. Hi, Sen. You're not late. It's only been about 20 minutes. No, you're not late. You're not late at all. So I've been playing a lot of retro games, and let me tell you how that started. Sen Matt tisk. Don't shame. He was probably he was probably busy, you know. I will use this opportunity to remind everyone here that you do not have to ever watch my streams. You don't have to watch them live. You don't have to watch them as VODs. If you have better things to do, by all means watch those better streams, do those better things, take care of yourself. Always make yourself the priority. Yeah, make sure you're getting a good meal. My Italian ancestry would not be happy if you were not eating well. Shame on me, I'm going to commit Sudoku. I didn't really like to play Sudoku. It's too much math for me, you know? Some people really like it, but I would prefer crosswords, right? I'm more of a... You got me tangenting, didn't you? I'm more of a verbal reasoning kind of person, right? Which is very strange considering what I've said otherwise. But it's true. My abilities do tend to go further towards the verbal. Just not speaking, right? Just not speaking. What counts as retro? Not even the usual is Wii 360 PS3 retro, but like, is a remaster of a retro game still retro? I know what you're saying. Like, there was a Chrono Trigger. No, there was a Secret of Mana Yeah, there was a Secret of Mana remake, and then there was a Final Fantasy VII remake recently. This is like dating the last times I've looked at games, right? I wouldn't call those retro, right? Remakes are their own new thing. I know they appeal to retro gamers, Because everybody has, like, a game they played in their youth. If they don't, well, I kind of feel bad about that, because that means you probably weren't much of a gamer in your youth. And maybe that's not your fault, but I'm talking, like, literal retro. And I was talking about, like, playing it on the original console or hardware. That kind of retro is what I've been doing. But I think any kind of virtual system that's running those kind of games, like the Nintendo eShop or the online, whatever it is, probably counts as retro, because the games have not been significantly altered, you know? I think that counts. Let me inherit your Steam account. Zhong Wen. Hyde does not know how to play Zhong. I know a lot of people in the community really like Mahjong. I just never learned how to play it, which is a shame because I had the golden opportunities to do so in college, and I just said, no, that's a game for older people, you know? And here I am, now an older person, wishing that maybe I would have picked it up. Yeah, that would have been fun, right? I deleted it before the account got in your hands. First game I saw was Age of Empires 2. Oh. You know, Age of Empires 2 was one of the first games I saw as well. It was on PC, I think? Yeah, probably. I can't even remember, it was that long ago. And I wasn't the one playing it either. Like, it was one of my brothers playing it. The only thing I ever did on Age of Empires was cheat in units. I think Age of Empires 2 has the laser bear cheat. Yeah. Didn't consider those retro either. Yeah, I don't think they are. I think remakes are their own thing. Yeah, I wouldn't call them retro in any sense. They're, revisions, right? And revisions are new things entirely. Yeah, but what about a remaster? Yeah, it's the same game, made playable on a newer system. It depends on the degree of the remaster, right? Like, if you're just messing with the sprites and changing the artwork, I don't think that's really anything new, right? It just looks different. I don't consider that kind of remaster much of a change. So maybe that would be considered retro, because the same gameplay would be in effect. A port. So, when I was younger, there were these Game Boy Advance games with all of the NES classics, and I had one for Zelda 1. I would consider that a retro game, even though it was on Game Boy Advance, because it wasn't significantly changed. Yeah, there has to be some degree of alteration in order for it to be new, I think. I think that's how I would say it, yeah. What else? I saw my cousin playing that game. A little 4-year-old Sen Math got brainwashed with strategy games. Yeah, that explains a lot, Sen. That really does. I think our early formative experiences with video gaming probably shape our influences, or probably shape our preferences for years to come. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if you see someone like a cousin or a brother, and they're really enjoying a game, and then you, yourself, like, because they're your family and maybe you enjoy their company, maybe you would enjoy it, right? You start to put yourself in their shoes, or maybe you idolize your older, I don't know, family member a little bit, and you start to think, well, maybe if I got good at that game, maybe I could be just like them. And I think maybe that was what I did. I don't know if that's true for everyone, but I definitely did want to play games and get better, just to impress my brothers sometimes. Yeah, I did that with Super Smash Bros., the original, for N64 quite a bit. The bear is from Age of Mythology. Is it? Is it? Okay, maybe I'm thinking of, one of them had cars. I remember one had cars, right? Like, it had a VW Beetle, which was always strange to me. I don't know how you get away with having a VW Beetle, but they did. I had no one to influence me. That's kind of sad. Yeah, I guess siblings. Some people, they're uninfluenceable, right? Like, there's no peer pressure that will ever work on them. And that's fine too, right? Like, you can be your own person at that point. There's no strange influences on you at all. Yeah. Finbar too, huh? Only child. In a lot of ways, I think being an only child is a benefit, but there are also some problems that might come from that, right? If you're an only child, you don't really get the experience of having to share things with, well, your brothers, sisters, siblings, whatever. You might share them with, like, cousins, I guess. I don't know if you have cousins. You don't have to tell me if you do. Please don't dox yourself. Don't dox yourself. I'm serious. Don't do it. But, yeah. If you don't have siblings, I do think that you're missing out a little bit on, navigating social issues early. Yeah. So what do I mean by that? Like, if you have a sibling, you're going to have to get along for a significant amount of time, usually. At least a decade. Usually. There are some strange age gaps for siblings out there nowadays, but that didn't used to be the case, right? Like, I'm pretty old, so maybe I'm biased and thinking a little strangely, right? Maybe I'm just too old, I don't know. Why say VW? Isn't it more syllables than what it stands for? Volkswagen? Volkswagen. Ah, VW, Volkswagen. VW is 2 syllables. Volkswagen is 3 syllables. So no, no, it is not more syllables than what it stands for. Unless I'm counting incorrectly. And as we all know, my math is terrible, so maybe I am. Maybe it is fewer syllables. Feel free to correct me in chat. I don't trust myself half the time. Isn't W 2 syllables? No, it's 5. Yes, it is. W is 3 syllables. W. W. Yeah, no, it's actually one more syllable. Double. Yeah, double. U. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. Hyde is terrible at math. We've proven this. Yeah, okay, yeah. See what I mean? Like, it's tricky. I'm glad I'm not the only one, Finbar. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Like, it's late for me, so I have an excuse. And, you have an excuse to... don't throw that poor FSLs out there. We have excuses, okay? EFLs. Okay, yeah, poor ESLs there. Yeah, how about that? Poor elves out there. Well, Finbar is a... oh, what are they called? Dullahan, right? Yeah, he's headless. So he's technically a fae of sorts. So as a fae, he would be technically an elf, right? That's how that works. Finbar, are you a fae? I hate W. Why do you hate W, Senmath? W is a fairly easy language, or yeah, language. Word. W isn't a word, right? But how would you say that? Like, it's a fairly simple set of phonemes to pronounce. I think it's fairly simple, right? W. Yeah, that's 3 phonemes, so 3 syllables, and it's fairly simple to say. Technically, yes, I am. Finball. Yeah. I figured you would count it. Some people call W double V, other W. I hate it. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. That goes back to the differences in the typesets, really. Whether it's a double V or a W really depends on how it was typed, and not so much written. Like, have you ever looked at parchments from the 1700s? Like English parchments, obviously. Because we're talking about the Roman alphabet here, right? Yeah. Or is it the Phoenician alphabet? It's Latin numerals, and it's the Roman alphabet, I think. Ah, it's been a while. Like, I haven't even thought about this in a long time. But, yeah. If you've ever looked at the 1700s parchments from, say, the US colonies at the time, whatever, you know, even from England, anywhere that was speaking English with parchment, they have this really fancy S, right? It looks like an F. So, yeah, that S would be kind of similar to what the WWV thing going on here is, yeah. Every time I remember Rome, I cry. What's wrong with Rome? Did it burn down or something? Don't tell me the Roman Empire fell. Oh man, that would ruin my night if it did. Yeah, I figured. We were out of moves there, at least moves I could see. So, yeah. It comes down to a gamble sometimes. I could have probably used the bottom row, and that would have been easier, right? Yeah. The bottom row had a higher probability, because there were more spaces around it. So if I had taken the bottom one instead, maybe we would have gotten luckier there. But I'm really not out here trying to win, right? Cope, cope, look at him cope. I'm just here for a good time. Yeah, that's how I feel about streaming, right? Like, streaming is supposed to be kind of a fun time. It's very different from the YouTube content that I put out, and that I get to interact with all of you, right? And I think there is something to be said about interacting with a streamer, right? Because you don't usually get to interact with them too much when they put out content like a YouTube video. Yeah, so I know some of you probably don't stream on, or don't put out YouTube videos, but that's fine. Sir Ed, Roman Empire is no more. Rome has been sacked and is burning to the ground. Sir Ed, Roman Empire is no more. Rome has been sacked and is burning to the ground. I could see that in a game somewhere, right? Like Age of Empires, maybe? Oh, that hurts. That hurts. You know, it wouldn't be the first time that Rome was burned to the ground. Yeah, skull. Yeah, I lost. It was expected, right? I don't like this. This starts bad. What was I talking about there? YouTube, right. You probably don't want to hear about the ins and outs of YouTube. Like, I know a lot of you stream primarily on Twitch, right? And that wasn't what the skull was for. Oh, the Roman Empire or Age of Empires? Oh yeah, you were streaming Age of Empires, weren't you? Yeah. For anyone watching the VOD, Ruratoris here in chat, she streams Age of Empires. Sometimes. If you like that kind of content, check out her VODs. I don't think she's streamed it in a while. And while we're here, Senmath has recently been streaming, right? Like, you've been working on, your Twitch streaming. So, she's a pro. No, I don't. Okay. Well, maybe check out her other content then. But, as I was saying, Senmath here, you've been branching out into streaming, right? You've been doing your testing so far. Yeah, I was there. It was a good time. Once we get out of that slideshow and you got everything fixed, that was actually a fun game, right? I've never seen that one played before. What was that called, Senmath? It was some kind of war simulation game, right? And, judging by the units, I would say World War I, maybe? Yeah, I'm going to test part 430. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna look forward to that. I don't know what that means. That's the game name, I think. So, anyone who wants to check out some cool strategy games, yeah, check out Senmath's channel over on Twitch. Yeah, World War II game. Okay, I was off by a little bit. If you don't mind World War II, go check that out. That's fun stuff, too. Yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying about YouTube. I have no idea what I was saying about YouTube. It was something about... what was it? No, not W's, not Rome being sacked. I was talking about videos, wasn't I? Yeah. Oh, right, interaction with streamers. Aha, the old man got there. His memory isn't that terrible, is it? No, it is that terrible. He is so easily sidetracked. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, that one. And that didn't help us at all, did it? Not one bit. This is a bad start. Yeah, okay. So, I was talking about YouTube videos and how people don't usually get to interact with the content creators. I think that's one of the major advantages of streaming. So, even though I think I primarily enjoy making YouTube videos, there is a merit to me streaming every now and then, right? And it's not just so you can all watch me lose in Minesweeper. Isn't that terrible? Haha, retro games. Oh yeah, we were talking about retro games. I gotta get going. Good luck on the stream. Thanks for stopping by, Finbar. It was good to see you around. Check out Finbar over on Twitch too. Yeah, Finbar is great. Yeah, he's a Dullahan. That means he's headless, although he has his. Yeah. I was talking about retro games, wasn't I? A long time ago. Should I talk about that instead of YouTube? Would you find that more interesting? Yeah. Take care, Finbar. Take care, Finbar. Take care, Finbar kinda sounds like something you would take for, like, some kind of disease, right? Like, take care, take Finbar. It's a slogan for some kind of medicine. Why not both? What you consider a retro game now? Okay. We'll talk about the retro games first, because that's actually one of the topics I had listed for tonight. Believe it or not, I had a real struggle coming up for topics that I really wanted to talk about today. Yeah, there were some, right? I had 3 that I thought were very strong potentialities, but I usually like to have 4 or 5, because I never know how long these things go on. That's not to say I only have, like, 3 or 4 topics, because I do have 4 topics that I came up with. I really rushed and scrambled to put them together today. But I do have a list of older topics. It's just, I don't really feel like talking about the same topics that I have listed all of the time, you know? Yeah. So we'll talk about retro games again. As I was saying, I've been playing a lot of retro games as of late. And I've actually been playing them on, well, for the most part, I've been playing them on the Nintendo E... whatever it is. Yeah, the online thing that I bought for whatever reason. You know, I always get that during the holidays. That was a misclick. Just because my brothers like to play it anyway, right? It's the only time they like to play with me, right? During the holidays, when we all get together. We usually play games. Sometimes it turns out to be like Switch games or console games, whatever. Jackbox is pretty common too. We didn't play that this time though. Anyway, not to get too sidetracked. Yeah, I see the cat. You're waiting for me to finish my story. It's just gonna be one of those running gags, isn't it, right? Like, I just never finish my stories. I could see that happening. Oh, the old man, he has dementia. He has cognitive decline. He'll never finish his stories. We'll never know how they started or ended. He just gives us the middle of a story, and then he just expects us to know. Yeah. So, for Christmas, my family, the adults, did a Secret Santa this year. First year we've ever done that. But it's a big family, and the children are getting more numerous, and the adults, they're like, well, I don't actually need anything, right? So it's really hard to buy, like, say, 20-something gifts, or gifts for 20-something people. It gets to be really difficult, especially when, you know, everyone's an adult, they have jobs, they can buy whatever they want, right? For the most part. So we decided to make it easy and just go Secret Santa this year. Every adult put their name in a hat, and we drew one. Well, my brother got my name, And he is kind of really interested in electronics, right? Like, he likes older electronics, especially. And he's... This might... No, it's not gonna dox him. No, it's probably not. But, he has contacts. Sounds shady, doesn't it? This Italian guy, he has contacts. Yeah, yeah. You know, he's a made man. He makes things. It's not like that. It's not like that, I swear. Ouch. So he has contacts, and he somehow found an original copy of Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Advance. The battery, unfortunately, was drained, but it was replaced. But everything else was original. Original to the time. Now, I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember the Game Boy Advance, but it was a big, clunky thing that came out after the original Game Boys, which were themselves bigger, clunkier things. And the major feature of the Game Boy Color... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Game Boy Advance? Yeah. No, Wario Land 3 was for the Game Boy Color. Very different systems. So the major feature of the Game Boy Color was the ability to show colors. The original Game Boy was in this green and darker green, kind of... I don't know. It wasn't monotone, it wasn't... It was just line art on a green screen is basically what it was. But the Game Boy Color came out, and you had this whole new world of color that you could add into your palettes of games. It was fantastic. It made it look like, I think it would be comparable to the SNES, yeah. Man, you're making me feel real old right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Diana. This is an old man stream, That's kind of my thing, right? Like, I'm the old man here. The old man, never finishing his stories, as it were. So I get you, I really do. It's never fun feeling the age. I'm gonna guess that you know about the Game Boy Color. You might have lived it, right? You don't have to say you did. Don't dox yourself. It's fine if I do, but I'm the streamer, right? That's fine. I am allowed to say that I'm old. Oh, sad face, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. It's just... Yeah, I know how you feel. I've been grappling with it myself, right? The other day, I found a gray hair. Yeah, the first gray hair. And that really got me. Oh, that hurt. So I do apologize. I know what you're going through. And you're not the only one. Oh, it's okay, I'm just being dramatic. Okay. I'm glad I didn't actually, yeah, I didn't actually make you feel bad. That's never the intention of my streams. Never. So, back to the story. That's kind of callous, isn't it? I didn't mean to make you feel bad. So back to my story. That's just how my brain works, I guess. This is why I do mostly video content, right? I can edit out all of those quick, switches in my brain. But yeah, I really am glad that you don't feel bad. Yeah. Also, good to see you back here. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to see a familiar face again, too. Smiley face, there, that's what we like to see. So, Game Boy Colors. They're these, kind of smaller than a brick, but bigger than a smartphone. Like, a modern smartphone is, thin. But imagine, like, if you stacked 3 smartphones on top of each other. That'd be about the size of a Game Boy Color, if you've never held one. And the only major difference between it and its predecessor, the Game Boy, would be the size, the rough colorations, because the Game Boy Colors came out in a lot of vivid colors, and the color palette, which is really nice because you could actually play, it was backwards compatible, you could play Game Boy games on the Game Boy Color, and there's a feature on the Game Boy Color where if you hold down and press B, you can alter the color palette of the original Game Boy game, so you don't have to play it in that ugly, I guess, green on green. And I would always do that for things like Bomberman. Or, yeah, the Bomberman with Wario in it. I don't remember what that one was. Yeah. Anyway. Back off the tangent, yeah. Old man, get back to your story. So, my brother, he got my Secret Santa name, and he got me this original copy of Wario Land 3. I guess he got a good deal on it, because Wario Land 3 is, now on the Nintendo online subscription thing for the SNES. And I guess it would have been easier to play on the Nintendo eShop thing, but I kind of wanted to play the original. And I did. I dug out of storage my original Game Boy Color, because yes, I do own an original Game Boy Color. In fact, I have 2 of them in my possession, although the one is not my own. I seem to have inherited one from another brother. The color palette thing is new knowledge to me. Oh, you've never tried that? You've got to try that. Dig out one of your original Game Boy Colors if you have one. And yeah, insert an original Game Boy cartridge if you have one. I hope you put new batteries in your Game Boy cartridges if you have one. Because if you haven't, they're all dead by now. If you ever had a Pokemon game, like I have several Pokemon games from back then. A couple yellows, a couple blues. I think I might even have a red. If you have one of those, battery's almost guaranteed to be dead. You're gonna have to change that yourself, so I hope you know how to solder. Don't burn the boards. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. So this copy of Wario Land 3 fantastically replaced the battery. There's no board burn at all. I couldn't do that. I don't have stable enough hands for it. My hands are too shaky. It's all the caffeine, right? Yeah. That's what you get for drinking coffee this late. Shockingly, my copy of Yellow, which has never been replaced, is still alive. That is fantastic. Like, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but that is surprising. My copy of Yellow died years ago. And, yeah, that really is strange. They're like original 3-volt batteries, I think. So, I don't even know what would do that. Maybe you stored it in a cool environment, and that cool environment, preserved the charge, but it's probably getting low, so you might have to replace it soon. Oh man, I don't want to tangent, but I kinda have to tangent now, because you're talking about the original Pokemon Yellow, right? And I got some stories about the original Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow was the first game I ever played, yeah, by myself. It was the first game I ever played by myself. I got it for... well, it's a Game Boy game, but I think I got it during the... did the Pocket come out before or after the Game Boy Color? I can't remember. But my brother had a Game Boy Pocket, and I was always borrowing it. If you don't know what a Game Boy Pocket is, it's kind of like a Game Boy Color, only smaller, so that it fits in your pocket. I think before? I think so too. I think so too. And I would always play Pokemon Yellow on his Game Boy Pocket. And I don't know. This might dox my age, but I was very small. Very young at the time Game Boy or Pokemon Yellow came out. And I couldn't read very well at that point, right? Like I could barely read anything at all. But that game actually taught me how to read. So don't let anyone tell you that gaming doesn't have educational value, because it does. Not only can you learn how to be the very best Pokemon tamer, you can learn how to read. Isn't that great? Yeah, yeah. I'm not even kidding. Like, I got a strategy guide for it too. That was a cool thing, right? Strategy guides existed back then. And they were expensive, as most printed things were. But they had all of the catch rates and all of the Pokemon, like, encounter rates listed for every route, and they had maps of everything. Now, there were some errors, of course, but this is before the GameFAQs era. And if you know about GameFAQs.com, yeah, I'm sorry for making you feel old again. Yeah, Pokemon helped me with basic math. Oh, I could see that. I could see that. Catch rates, percentages, encounter rates. Like some of those patches of grass had like a 5% encounter rate. And you would have to know that's 5 in 100. Yeah, I could see that helping out a lot. I learned a lot of vocabulary from Kingdom Hearts. I assume you're saying Kingdom Hearts, right? That's what KH is. Like, yeah, games aren't just... I don't know. They're not just something to be entertaining. They are. They are something to be entertaining, and if you're older, maybe they are just entertainment or escapism, but they don't have to be. Like, I think they can foster the young imagination and the young mind a lot better than other forms of media might. Alright? So, a lot of people, they get these bad ideas about games, like they're rotting kids' brains. Not necessarily true. It really depends on what kind of game you're giving kids. And, I don't know. Like, I'm not a parent, so I really can't say much. But I understand it's hard. I understand, I do. I've seen it. I see. It's a very difficult thing to do to raise another tiny little human being into a well-adjusted adult. I've seen it go wrong quite a bit. Yeah, let's not go there. But, yeah. It really depends on what the parents do about the games, right? Like, there are educational games out there purely for educational value. Like counting games and math games and vocabulary games. They exist. I played a bunch of those on computer as young Hyde, yeah. Smiley face. I'm going to assume that I got the KH right from Kingdom Hearts. I've never actually played a Kingdom Hearts game, right? This is going to be embarrassing to admit. You're going to say he's not a real gamer. Look at him, he's lost all of his gamer credit. He's just a casual gamer. But I've never played any kind of PlayStation or Xbox game. Like those series, just not in my house. I watched Resident Evil, played on the original PlayStation, but my brothers kept their PlayStation because it was theirs, right? They bought it, it was theirs. So they were allowed to have it in their room. They kept it there, and I was not allowed to play it. That's fair, right? It was theirs. Kingdom Hearts was in GBA 2, though. Was it? I don't remember. That sounds like a horrible port, right? Like, I remember Kingdom Hearts, the original, being very graphic intensive. Like, there were a lot of polygons that I don't think the Game Boy Advance could handle. No. Chain of Memories? Okay, I'm guessing... It looks like you both know what this is. A Kingdom Hearts game for the Game Boy Advance. I will have to look into that. I didn't know anything about this, right? If it exists, it's news to me, you know? But I'm glad you both understand what it is, because I'm completely lost. I know Kingdom Hearts is about Disney characters, right? And I remember Jack Skellington being in those, right? So I was a big fan of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Still am. It's one of the few movies that I keep around with me most of the time. They did a great job making COM look 3D. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Like, this is very strange that I know nothing about this game. Maybe I just didn't like Disney at that time. I don't know. I've never heard of Chain of Memories, but if it looked 3D, that would have been very impressive for the Game Boy Advance era. I can't think of any 3D games until the DS came out, right? And the first 3D game that I remember playing on the DS was Metroid Fusion. Yeah. And I wasn't very good at it either, but I remember being blown away by how you could have a handheld playing a 3D game, right? I think that launched with a trial version of Metroid Fusion. Yeah, I think so. What else came at the start? I think Mario 64 came out in the start too. Main gameplay was 2D pixel art, but major cutscenes were 3D and quite impressive for the system. It sounds like it, like, I've never heard of anything even remotely three-dimensional on a Game Boy Advance, and I own 3 different kinds of Game Boy Advance. So I'm kind of shocked. How did I miss this? I guess I really am a fake gamer, aren't I? Yeah, that's really surprising to me. How did I miss that? I don't know. Chain of memories. It's not ringing any bells, you know? But then again, maybe I was just too cool for Disney. Too old for Disney. But that's not entirely true either, because again, like, Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas was one of my favorite movies growing up. It was so much of a favorite that I ended up taking with me to college, which I did not do too often, right? I did not take movies with me. No. And I hope you understand what I mean by taking movies with me. Yeah, think about how you would store a movie and take it with you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you're so cool. Cool people play Minesweeper. That kinda hurts, you know? That hurts my feelings. Like, you can't just send a heart and make that go away. Yeah. It's true, though. Cool people do play Minesweeper. Minesweeper... I didn't know how to play Minesweeper at all when I was growing up. I just like clicking the buttons and seeing the numbers show up. It wasn't until much later in my life that I learned the logic behind Minesweeper. And I'm pretty sure I've gone over the logic of Minesweeper at least once in one of these Zatsu-Sweeper streams, right? But I don't know if I have. If I haven't, there are mines, and the numbers tell you how many mines there are next to them. That's why there's a grid system. So this has a 2, and there are 2 mines around it. You gotta work backwards from whatever numbers you reveal to figure out where the mines are. And I did not know that as a kid. I would just click things randomly. Yeah. And that was pretty fun for me, if I'm being honest. It was good enough. We're stuck again. Less than ideal. We're gonna have to take a gamble here. Yeah. The best place to gamble would probably be around here, because we have all these ones. I'm going to say that this is probably the bomb, so we're gonna click here. You never know. So I'm gonna finish that story that I started about Wario Land 3. Yeah? Yeah, all that long time ago. Because I really don't know too much about Chain of Memories, right? Yeah. I don't know. That's very strange that I don't know it. Sadly, another year without winning Minesweeper. The year is not over yet, Sen. The year is not over. We'll get there. We'll get them next time. I do own like 3 different Game Boy Advance systems though, right? They had 3 different ones. They had the original Game Boy Advance. I saw the future. Oh, why do you have to tell me the future, Sen? Why couldn't you let me live blissfully in ignorance? I only see bombs. Are you sure you're not seeing World War II, like that game you're gonna be playing? I'm pretty sure you're just seeing that World War II game that you're gonna be playing if you're seeing nothing but artillery shells. Yeah. Maybe you should, look at my future instead of yours. How about that, Sen? How about that? Yeah. They came out with 3 different Game Boy Advances during the life cycle of the Game Boy Advance. It was very strange. They started out with this original, weirdly, like, football-shaped system. It was very interesting. It is more ergonomic in the hands to put the controls on the sides like wings, but it didn't store so well in the pocket. And, it was really hard to actually see what was on the screen sometimes. And I'm not just saying that as an old man. Even young Hyde thought that. Even young Hyde thought that. There were, like, auxiliary attachments, like lamps that you could buy aftermarket. That was a big industry, like aftermarket pieces that you could just attach to your Game Boy systems. I do have, like, a Game Boy Color magnifier, It's just a magnifying glass with a light that clips on to the, there are little ports on the side of the Game Boy Color that were specifically made so that you could add auxiliary things to them. And I do have an original, I think it's Pelican brand. Yeah, it's nothing fancy, but it has a light, and it has a magnifying glass. Worm light, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people bought the worm lights. Mine was not a worm light. And, I know the worm lights are apparently worth a lot of money these days, but mine was a Pelican brand, and it had this fold-out magnifying glass and a light that went down on the screen from the magnifying glass. It was really cool. It was a nifty system. I liked it, and that was before the era of backlighting. Fun fact, the Game Boy Advance SP, which came out after the Advance, with the fold-up, flip-over kind of screen, the first clamshell design that Nintendo ever had, kind of. Yeah, the one that they probably used to base their DS design on. Yeah, that one had not only front lighting, yeah, okay. The original models had front lighting, right? And the later models had backlighting. So there is a difference between the two. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that about the SP, that there are two different kinds of lighting systems for it. And I heard the 3DS has something similar, right? Like there is two different types of 3DS screen, and it affects how the 3D effect works. I don't know what that is, because that was about the era that I was in college, and I was not gaming much at all. Like, the only game I played in college was, I think it was Skyward Sword. Came out when I was in college, and I played that during a break. The IPS lottery. Yeah, the IPS lottery. The SP had two models, yeah. My Pro Blue one has a nice bright light. Silver is dull. Yeah, I don't know which one it is. Like, mine's front lit. It is blue too. It's very bright, but it's front lit. I know that. So, it's... it's kind of strange to look at it, really. Yeah. I'm used to the backlighting of modern systems, so I went back to it, and it just looks... It's very bright, I'll give it that. But it looks off to me. Well, two main models, I mean. Yeah, they probably had a lot of, different parts coming in later models. But I do know the originals were typically front-lit. Mine's also blue. I don't think I ever saw a different color. I'm pretty sure that the blue one was the one that was out for release. Why did I click that? Why did I click that? It was for the initial release, yeah. That was the major color that I saw too. I don't remember seeing any other colors that were available. Not that it matters, right? Like, blue was always my color when I had to buy something. It's not the color that I like to wear the most, but it is the color that I like to own the most. Very boyish, right? Yeah, look at him being a stereotype with his blue. The most statistically liked color there is, blue. Blue or red? Why did you click it? Because you're not good enough to not click it, yeah. Yeah, okay. Technically, that's true. There is a skill element to not clicking things accidentally, and now you're red. Yeah, my face is pretty red. That was an embarrassing loss. Or do you mean my hair? My hair is red. It is a Hyde day, after all. Maybe I should have been Jekyll today. It's fairly higher energy than I thought it would be. Yeah, I don't know. Like... I try to match my energy before a stream to who I'm streaming as. I made that thumbnail like 30 minutes before I started the stream based on how I felt. But maybe that coffee I've been drinking has helped me out a little bit on the energy, yeah? Yeah, but your model needs to be updated with one gray hair now. Why would I need gray hair? Oh, I see. That hurts. That hurts. Why do you make me feel so old? What did I ever do? Like, my whole persona is being old, but what did I ever do to you to make me feel so old? I didn't do anything. No, it's fine. It's true, you know? People age, they get gray hairs, it's what happens, right? Like, I'd rather have gray hair than no hair, right? Yeah, probably. Actually, that's not true. Like, how much behind the scenes do you want to know? This isn't too doxing. My first model probably looked more like me, in the fact that it had long red hair, right? And, Hyde behind the scenes has long hair, and it's so much of a pain, you know? Like, I'm just too lazy to go get a haircut. I haven't had a haircut since the COVID lockdowns. I just gave it all up, right? I was like, well, I've lived this long without a haircut. It's been, what, 6 months? I can go another 6 months without a haircut. And that just kept compiling until we got here today. Oh, your persona, huh? Yes, my persona. The first one. Hi, BoomTube. Good to see you. So, yeah, I do have long hair, and it is very annoying, because whenever I get it wet, it's cold here, you know? So when I get it wet, I have to dry it very well, or else I end up feeling very cold. It's less than ideal. If I were having it my way, maybe I would have a haircut. Yeah, maybe I would. Hyde could have a long, thin ponytail hidden behind the neck. We don't know. Yeah. Let's go with that. Hyde canonically has a ponytail hidden behind his neck. How about that? Yeah, I like that. I used to have a haircut very like this, with a ponytail, yeah. That's actually very in character. I like that. Oh yeah, I saw your model in one of your older videos. You saw it on exactly, one of 2 or 3 videos. I don't know if I privated the one. But there are, like, 2 or 3 videos out there with the original model. Yeah, I really like that design. It looked a lot like an original, like, arcade fighting game. Yeah, it was very pixely. I like the pixelation of it. I don't know. I was told that, I didn't look like or I didn't sound like a European Dracula. And that my model looked like a European Dracula. So I had to change that, right? I didn't want there to be too much of a mismatch between my voice and my model. Yeah. Well, there was at least one video. Yeah, there's at least one stream, and then there's the, song thing that I put out. The Bit Crusher one. No one liked that either. I get it. It's, very dissonant, and, it takes a very sophisticated ear to enjoy that kind of noise. I mean, music. I don't blame anyone who didn't like that music. Well, look at you now, and your Dracula accent short. You mean the BFE one, don't you? Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Like, no one remembers that I did that Dracula BFE one but you. Like, you're the only one who ever brings it up. One of these days, I'm going to put out a longer BFE video with just... I'm gonna play it completely straight, and I'm gonna use that same accent. And it's going to be, spicier, yeah, because that's what the people want. People want spicy vampire BFE. But it's just going to be that accent. And, before anyone asks if that's really happening, no. No, that is not happening. Hyde content's going to be mostly wholesome. Yeah. I know what you're thinking. Like, Jekyll content is not wholesome, but that's not quite what I meant. Violence is okay, right? YouTube is okay with violence. You can be as violent as you want on YouTube, as long as it doesn't involve children. If it involves children, they frown upon that, right? Or if it's, self-harm. They don't like self-harm either. Yeah, I just ran into that not too long ago, didn't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of us have discussed that in a comment section. Maybe. Yeah. Like, I always try to censor the self-harm stuff. I don't know if I have to unless it's like a child committing self-harm. But I do feel I don't want to encourage it either way. So I always try to censor that stuff. Yeah. I figured. So, I think that's going to be the last game I'm playing tonight. I did say this would be a shorter stream, and I am out of coffee, which is less than ideal. By which I mean I am now out of coffee. Good stuff. Not really. Very awful. Cold. And it's instant coffee. So the granulated coffee granules? Granulated coffee granules. I guess that makes sense, yes. The freeze-dried granulated coffeeuls are at the bottom as sludge. It's separated. Less than ideal. But look at you now. Yeah. Let me close this out real quick. Boop. And I'm going to make myself bigger. Ignore that I don't have a lower body, okay? Just ignore that. It's fine. I assure you I have a lower body. It exists. So is this character actually a Persona OC? Or am I just misinterpreting the motif? My character is based off of Edward Hyde, currently. I also have Henry Jekyll. So, my motif is Jekyll and Hyde. Only I have reversed them. Hyde is the sane one, and Jekyll is the insane one. I also have Clown Hyde, and I just like that one, because he's fun, right? Yeah, he's supposed to be the most sane of them all, because he's a sad clown. And I think sad clowns are probably the sanest people on Earth. Yeah, yeah. But it really depends on how I'm feeling that night. My lower energy content tends to be Hyde content. This one with the red hair. Swag. Yeah, for real, for real. You have the P5 color palette? Persona 5, okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I really like the stark contrast between the whitish, the reddish, and the grayish black. Yeah, that was very intentional. Like, I wanted it all to pop. I know it's a very bland design, so I wanted the colors to really stand out. Jack is perfectly sane. What are you talking about? I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. Yeah, yeah, in fact, thank you so much, Diana. That makes me feel so happy. Yeah, yeah, you're one of my favorite viewers now. Yeah, you're safe. For now. For now. Yeah, he's perfectly sane, sure. Sad Clowns just got reminded of Puddle's Pity Party. Yeah, very much Puddle's Pity Party. I really liked that one. Yeah, he was the one on, what was that show? The one with the, singing, right? That was Puddles? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Puddles. If not, we're thinking of different sad clowns. But he had a great voice, the one I'm thinking of. Smiley face. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. I'm sorry it was such a short stream. I usually try to do an hour every week, and I'm always happy to see anyone who shows up. Any familiar face, any new face, you're always welcome, but I do want to remind you all, you don't have to be here. I really appreciate it, but if you have better things to do, if you have to take care of yourself, please do. Please do take care of yourself. I do want to say that you're all my favorites. Yeah, you're all my favorites. Hyde makes no distinction, except for this, except for the distinctions he makes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So, I think we're gonna call it here. It was a fun stream, thank you all for coming, and I will see you next time. Yeah. Yeah. Hyde out. Love you all. See you next time, maybe. I have nothing better to do. Your streams are better. Probably not. Breathe. Take care of yourself. Eat. Drink. Yeah. Good night. Good night to all you people out there. Thank you all for coming. See ya.